Good evening. Welcome to Let's Talk with Dr. Shanessa Fenner. Of course, I'm your host, Dr. Shanessa Fenner. And today I have a very special friend with me, Mr. Johnny Wilson, who's the Executive Director of Fayetteville Urban Ministry. How are you doing today, Johnny?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Johnny?
Well, well, first of all, I'm on the move a lot. As you know, we've been friends and known each other for quite some time, Doctor. But I've been living here in the Fayetteville community since 1995. I was raised for the most part of my past or the early adulthood in the western part of the state down below Asheville, North Carolina. So I call Fayetteville my home. It's been very, very good to me, and I've been with the Fayetteville Urban Ministry family since 1999, and now just like that, 15 years has gone by, and I've been very, very fortunate to grow and evolve within the Urban Ministry family.
Okay, all right. I'd like to talk about one of the programs, Find a Friend, which is very close to my heart, of course, because I am an educator, I'm a principal. Of course, education is what we do. So I want to talk a little bit about the Find a Friend program. So tell us a little bit about that.
The Find a Friend program, as you say, it's near and dear to a lot of folks' heart, but it's very unique in itself because it serves to deal with the population of at-risk and court-involved kids. That program alone, we will serve anywhere between 150 to 200 kids per year. We have an 80% success rate, and what that means, or what that defines, is that 8 out of every 10 children that we work with in that program, they, one, heighten their grades, no longer get new or further court involvement, and they get no more long-term suspensions in school. And so again, I used to direct that program way back when. I miss it a lot. I don't get to do such hands-on stuff now. As Shauna Hopkins, she's our Find a Friend coordinator. But that program, we use that to mold and shape our young people and put a lot of incentives into it. We do a summer enrichment camp and program and things to help kids achieve their goals, and sort of like the carrot at the end of the stick.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about those components of the program. The first component I'd like to talk about would be the GATE, the Gang Awareness Through Education, which is something that's very important. Of course, we don't want our students in gangs.
Right.
You know, we want them to feel loved, through their families and through their teachers and their principals and their, school family. So let's talk a little bit about that.
GATE, Rosha Biagas, she coordinates that component for us through Find a Friend, does a fantastic job. These kids are what you call are more high at-risk kids, obviously because they're exposed to the gang affiliation, a lot of negative peer pressure and such due to the neighborhoods they live in, or the type of company they hang out with at schools, or just really, really need that severe one-on-one structure to guide them and get them right back on the path. So again, Rosha coordinates that. She puts together what we call ART, aggression training, to help steer these kids back on path, and some other, a lot of other different type of measurements and evaluation tools. But they are intensified because they get to come to the facility 4 days a week, rather than most of our other kids have to come 1 day a week. But these kids get to come Monday through Thursday, get to work on academic strengthening, their goals in the classroom, the goals at home, and more importantly, to try to give them the tools to stay away from that gang affiliation type stuff. And it works. We've been doing this component. We're in our 3rd year going into that now, and Rosha and our juvenile court counselors have been tremendous in working together in that partnership and getting more and more kids involved and graduating from that component successfully.
Okay. Now, Johnny, when you talk about at-risk and higher at risk, tell me a little bit about that. What's the difference between someone basically in your program that's at risk versus higher risk?
Well, how we define a child that's at risk is your kid that does not play football, basketball, baseball, cheerleading, in the band, any of the clubs at school after school. So meaning when this kid leaves school, him or her has time to hang out in the neighborhood, has time to be alone, do the social media, Facebook, all of that good stuff that we have going on today. But they don't have any structured time, whether to be a part of a team or someone watching over their shoulder. So those kids are at risk. Now, how we define our higher at-risk kids are the ones who have already been suspended. The kids who are on the guidance counselors list, is in trying to support him or her, bring the family more together, saying, hey, we need to heighten little Johnny's grades, fix his behavior, blah, blah, blah. And these kids that have already touched base in the court system. Here alone in Cumberland County, we have close to, it does fluctuate, but we have close to 400 kids that are on probation throughout Cumberland County.
You know, that's just too many.
It is. It is. It is.
That's too many.
It is. And doctor, that does not include that population of kids who have been intake diverted, meaning they actually came to court, actually been very close to getting charged, but were not deemed or put on absolute probation. So, yeah, those are higher at-risk kids.
Okay, thank you for that. All right. Let's talk about the next component, the life, leadership, integrity, fitness, and education component.
Well, that program that's a very neat component in itself as well. This component works hard and strives to get a lot of kids into their fitness, their education, as you may say, and getting them even ready for job focus and training. The downside to this is we did lose funding for that component last year. However, we still maintain, we still power through. I have a great staff that still supports this initiative, still puts kids in this component, and we keep acting like, you know, we still have the funding just because we feel like that component is so needed. As you say, it has all the ingredients that make our young people, the leadership, the education, the fitness, and so on. But more importantly, it helps us. Not everyone can go to college. Not everyone is ready to go to college at the age of 18 or 19 out of high school. That component allowed us to really be able to push that and show these kids that, hey, maybe I'm not ready for college now, but I am ready to get a job right after high school. I am ready to go to the Air Force or the Army. I am ready to be responsible and start working my way toward college, even though I'm not ready right now. So it really was a shame, but like everyone else, we're faced with challenges, budget cuts, state cuts, and you name it. And I guess we took our turn in the process, but again, I have a great staff that they're still powering through and putting that initiative into play with our kids.
Okay. Of course, you know, in my mind, I want every student to go to college,
right,
because that's just how I think, you know, and I am somewhat, just a little bit, not much. I kind of understand that college isn't for everyone, but of course college is something that I prefer. For example, that all 625 of my students attend college.
Yes.
If I could have it my way. All right, let's talk about the mentoring for at-risk and law enforcement involved. That component as well.
Well, that's a special population of kids who really rely on that one-on-one relationship. With our LIFE program and the GATE program, as we before discussed or mentioned, those programs are after school. So meaning we go out through Cumberland County and we pick up all of these kids from their school, no matter how far or how near they are, pick them up from school, bring them to the facility. We give them the after-school snack. And then we get into the workshop with those kids that are in LIFE and GATE and our interpersonal skills. The mentoring component of incarcerated kids and at-risk population, those kids get matched up with a one-on-one mentor, with a big brother or big sister. So what that means is they can pick and choose their own time to go hang out. For example, if you're matched up with the little Cindy, you dialogue with the parents, y'all come up with a schedule, say, hey, I'm going to pick her up on Saturday evening. We're going to go grocery shopping. We're going to go wash my car. We're going to go hang out at the library. We're going to go to a ball game, things like that. So you just do things that are still within your scope. Don't don't jump off your avenue or path. You just take a young person with you, because these little folks that are in that category, a lot of them have not had that one-on-one attention and that positive attention. And it's real simple. We ask those mentors to give up 8 hours a month, which breaks down to 2 hours a week, and to give up a year, which that's a selling point, because most of them, after a year and they built that relationship with that young person, they say, hey, you know what? I want to do this another year. Okay. And then all of a sudden we have some that are in their third year and so on, and have been matched or mentored with multiple kids throughout time. So it just goes on. And what makes our mentoring component so outstanding as well, Doctor, is that not only are you teaching this little young person that gets to hang out with you, I think it's so cool you get to learn a lot more about yourself as well, because this young person slowly starts to emulate you.
Oh, well, that's a great thing.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you're a positive person.
Indeed.
Okay.
Indeed.
So how many volunteers do you have now that's doing this?
Right now we are a little bit, I think we're around 15. That changes weekly and daily due to the graduation rate. But we just had a training 2 weeks ago where we trained up more than 10 folks in that training. Our shortage are males. We're always looking for males. The women, we have more women on standby, and they outweigh the young ladies that are in our program most of the time. So we are always looking for males.
Okay, so Johnny,
to match up.
Why do you think that the men are not coming forth to help?
Well, gosh, that's a tough question.
That's why I asked it.
That's a tough question. It's a great question, and I still today don't know if I've answered that correctly, because I think I've gotten into hot water into how I answer it. So here we go again. Here goes to boiling water. I feel like as a grown-up, we're busy. And so when I've gone out to do a lot of presentations or recruiting, things of that nature to get more mentors, I've had several men in my time throughout time to say, well, you know, sir, I'm just very, very busy and I don't have a lot of time. And I said, with all due respect, if you're a grown-up, you should be busy. If you're not busy, you're probably doing something wrong in this day and time.
Or you're not doing enough.
Indeed. I don't give our males a lot of options, because you know, I was as you know, I was a single parent to my younger sisters. I was raising them on my own, and you
did a great job, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Proud of
Thank you very much. And I can't take all the credit because I have a wife.
That's right.
But when I started, I was single with them, and I also have a son, and I was a mentor, and I love to play ball, exercise, my fitness, and I had a couple of jobs. So, you know, I just can't give you too much room to move around on that, because I really feel like whenever you want to make a difference and you want to do something, you're gonna do it. And there's this saying, what some folks say, you know, if I could only find some more time, find some more time. And if you notice, when you pick up a rock or lift up your plate or whatever, time is not there, because you're not going to find it. You got to make time.
Well, I was always taught, you know, ever since I was a little girl, you know, I was always told, Shanessa, people find time to do what they want to do.
Yes.
Okay. So that's what I've heard ever since I was about, you know, and they do, you know, talking to my mom and having those discussions and all, because I was raised by a single parent as well, my mom, you know, and she raised me and my little sister, Erica, and, you know, she's always talked with me and been honest with me and straightforward with me, and I do remember her saying, you know, people find time to do what they want to do.
You got it.
Yes. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the fourth component, the JCPC interpersonal skills.
JCPC has been outstanding to the Find a Friend program. Those acronyms stand for the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council. Been very supportive of the Find a Friend program throughout years. And what we do in the JCPC interpersonal skills is that allow us to pick up the kids, as I mentioned earlier. This is a population that is considered at risk as well. However, this allows us to work with our elementary population They come in on a particular day, and I love that group. Sometimes when I get the opportunity, I'll sneak away and go over there and hang out with them.
Aren't they precious?
Oh,
and they're young, so you can actually mold them and, and just really, put your hands on them first and can, go ahead and mold them and kind of shape them how you want to.
You got it.
When they're younger.
You got it.
Yes.
You got it. And we have a middle school group. They come in on a particular day, and then the high school group, they come in on a particular day. The interpersonal skills gets really connected and up in your face, because they will go literally from one extreme, from peer pressure one week to hygiene one week, relationship with family, relationship with teachers, conflict resolution. And then in the holiday season, we get into what you call family sculpting, where the kids will give you a display or portray how the family is set up when they come home from school or come home for the evening. What's everyone doing, and then who they would love to live with, and who they would like in their houses, and who they would love their little brother or little sister to act one way or another. And so it really gets in depth, and more importantly, it allows the kids to do a lot of self-imaging. We do actual portraits where kids will paint on the front of one shirt how they feel like they are viewed, and then put on the back how they want to be viewed. Oh. So it allows them to really take a digest approach, where they're really able to look within and internalize a lot of things and see where they want to be. And that is our longest standing component, again, that the JCPC has been supporting, and that's really good. And again, I love hanging out with our young folks, the elementary kids, that we've been able to incorporate that several years ago. Those kids, they get after it. They take it very serious, and the elementary kids, they don't care about what your title is. They don't care about what you do. They don't care about your meetings.
No.
They're just like, if you're going to come out and hang out with me and give me some one-on-one good special time, help me with my homework or whatever, that's all I care about. And as we get older and get more in our grown-up ways, sometimes those things just bring you right back home and right to the basics, where all of the other things doesn't matter. It's just about the pureness of our future, and that's what that's what all of our kids about. But the elementary group is a little bit more special for me.
And they're very lovable, and they want your attention and your time, and they hug on you, and they're just as sweet as they can be.
Indeed.
Really are. Now, Johnny, when they do the picture that's going to depict how people view them, do they ever draw anything that kind of fits the stereotype that maybe society has of them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the self-images and the portraits, a lot of times we discuss them. We really discuss them deeply, as each child gets to take turn and come up on the podium and get to explain their image. But it is really amazing, because sometimes you don't even have to discuss it. You look at the notes, you look at the colors that they have on there, and some of them really wow you. They really take you back, and it really goes deep. And we allow the kids to keep those. We ask them to keep those and look at those. So whenever you notice that, hey, I'm going back to what everyone else wants me to be, and not on my target or my positive path, you need to reflect and look at this, because this is what you wrote. This is how you say that society or your peers or your teachers or your family views you. And if you don't want to be that, guess what? You don't have to be that. You have the power. You have the power to change that. And so I think that's the neatest thing about the Find a Friend in general, Doctor, is that we give the kids these tools to better themselves, but every last one of them have hope. If you want to really reach out and extend and work on that word hope, if they believe, they can really hope and believe to make a change if they want to.
Now, I'm sure that you have quite a few students who may not have a good background or a good home environment, you know, and you always want to focus on the positive, you know. They may come from a background that does not value education or see themselves ever doing anything, you know, with their lives or something. So do you all kind of make sure you focus on that as well so that they know that they can do whatever they put their mind to? And you, in other words, you try to instill some of that intrinsic motivation that they lack.
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, in the beginning of the day, if that child, if we can't help build them to get that intrinsic motivation, then that motivational bug or that fire is going to eventually burn out, because that is what wakes you up in the morning. That is what you get excited to go to bed that night and to wake up the next morning and do it better and better and better. Absolutely. The Find a Friend program is a very real program, meaning when these kids come to us, no matter what label, what stereotype, what charges that they have, how many suspensions that they have, we let them know this is what you have here, but you have a very clean slate when you sign on the dotted line to start with Find a Friend. So however you feel like you're looked at or perceived today, you don't have to be that way at Find a Friend. You get to start a brand new sheet of paper and a brand new you if you want to in this program. We don't bail them out. A lot of our staff, including myself, had a very challenged childhood. So the single parent or foster care or being raised by the aunt or uncle, we understand that those were shortages. But guess what? Somebody cared. Somebody cared to step in. So you're at the path now. Are you going to build on to that? Because that's what life is about, is a support system. So the bigger fan base you have, the bigger support system that you have, you're gonna be able to make it, because that's what life is about. No matter how big our family is, or no matter how small our family is, I think we all understand that family can be defined by just love and support, and you don't have to share the same name.
Exactly. Now, what are some of the new things that you have going on at Find a Friend now?
New things that we have going on, we have actually we have a flapjack breakfast that's coming on. A flapjack fundraiser that we're going to do on March 15th on at the Applebee's on Scarborough Road. It's more of a PR type of event. We love for folks to come out, some of our biggest supporters through that program, to just come and have breakfast with us, purchase a ticket, come and hang out, eat some nice breakfast with us. And I can't take credit for that. However, I will be a waiter.
Okay, all right, so you're going to do your part.
I'm not good with the pancakes and sausages, but I can make a mean cup of coffee.
Okay.
So that's what we have going on there as far as PR and marketing some. But in a few months, at the end of school, Find a Friend will have their summer enrichment camps and activities. And Doctor, this is the cream of the crop. We invite 60 kids out of all the kids that we've served for the year. These kids have not only achieved their goals, but surpassed their goals, because that's why they were invited to be a part of the summer enrichment camp. So we will go everywhere from Asheboro Zoo, Fort Fisher Aquarium, the Explorers Museum, IMAX Theater, rock climbing, ice skating, Myrtle Beach. A lot of nice restaurants, sit-down restaurants, as so many of our kids have never been able to go to a Ruby Tuesday or a Cracker Barrel. So these kids have about 3 months to continue to rise into the occasion, and they'll get picked to go through this for the entire summer, 3 days a week throughout the summer, with the Find a Friend staff, and go on all of these wonderful events and festivities, and all expenses are taken care of. There's no charges whatsoever.
Okay, so you're going to choose, like you said, your criteria, you're going to choose the ones that have really just done an awesome job this year.
Yes, and it is measured. We have the report cards. We go by the report cards.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
We touch base with their court counselors, the guidance counselors, the parents, SR officers, anyone that can help track this child or who referred the child. So Because, of course, we have those few kids that say, hey, I did this, I did this, you know,
right.
I achieved all of my goals. And that's really good. It's wonderful for those kids to have the confidence, but we have to have the measurement tools and to back that up. And I would be remiss. A few weeks back, our Find a Friend staff took 22 of our kids down to Atlanta, Georgia, to go to college tours and to see Battle of the Bands.
Okay.
Where they were down in Atlanta for 3 nights.
Okay. Which colleges did they?
And they were able to go around to Spelman.
Mm-hmm.
2 other colleges that have slipped my mind right at this point in time.
Okay.
But they were HBCUs, yes, that slipped my mind, so forgive me for that.
Oh, that's okay.
But these 17 out of these 22 kids had never left the state.
Oh,
and so it was pretty dang on awesome for them to be able to make this trip.
So that's good because that exposure is so important, Johnny.
Yes.
I remember my first year teaching. I was teaching in Durham Public Schools because I attended North Carolina Central University and decided to live up there for a little while after I graduated. And I was so like naive. I thought that every child had been to a restaurant and had gone out to eat. And then it came to me one day when I was talking to one of my students, and the student had said to me that they'd never been to a restaurant.
Yeah.
So what I did is I called the parent and I told the parent, hi, you know, I'm Miss Fenner, I'm, you know, so-and-so's teacher, and I'd like to take your child out this afternoon to a restaurant. And they said, fine. So after school, the child got in my car, we went to the restaurant, we ate, and I took the child home and dropped him off, you know.
Wow.
But I was so naive at the age of 20, 21, thinking that all children had been to a restaurant, you know. So it is very easy, you know, when you're young to say, hey, you know, you don't realize certain things.
And the most special part about that is that you made a memory with someone that will last a lifetime. That's what's so huge about that. That time, that meal made someone's made a lifetime memory, and that's what we try to tell folks when it comes to hanging out with kids, come to mentoring kids, and being role models to kids.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the anger or the aggression that we have in males at times. I've noticed through the years that there can be sometimes males that have a lot of anger in them, Johnny. I mean, just angry about everything. You know? Where does that anger come from?
Well, I have yet to figure that one out.
I'm asking some really good questions today.
You are. You really are. And I'm probably to the other extreme because I get in trouble from folks from smiling and laughing too much. And it's, Johnny, what's your problem? Do you ever have a bad day? Do you ever get mad? And of course I do. Of course I do. But whenever the Lord wakes me up, that's another great gift. And
Amen.
And that is something that we try to instill and shed on our young men in letting them know that it's no reason for you to be angry. You don't have to be angry. If you carry that anger around, you're simply destroying everything internally in you. You don't need the chip on your shoulder. You don't have to have that. All you need is positive motivation. And but I have yet to find the true answer on that one.
Okay, well, maybe we can talk about it next time. John, I'd like for you to give the audience your name and contact information because perhaps they like for their child to be a part of the program.
Okay. Again, my name is Johnny Wilson. I'm the Executive Director of Fayetteville Urban Ministry. Our main number is 910-483-5944. Our website is www.fayurb.org. That's fayurbmin.org. And if anyone loves to get involved with the Find a Friend program, please contact Ms. Shauna Hopkins at 910-483-4661.
Thank you, Johnny. And thank you, viewing audience. Once again, thanks for listening to me and viewing me here for Let's Talk with Dr. Shanessa Fenner. Good evening.
Stranger,